BYU got torched by Texas Tech. Alabama got dominated by Georgia. The Miami Hurricanes just got everything they need for the committee to put them into the college football playoff.
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
The ball is in the CFP committee's court now, and let me tell you, I can't guarantee you that they put Miami in on Sunday, but if they don't, there's going to be an outcry. There's going to be a lot of anger around the country, and not just from Miami fans. A lot of folks who have no affiliation to the U think the Hurricanes deserve to be in. I am Alex Donno, University of Miami alumnus, co-host of Locked On ACC and host of Postgame on the Hurricanes Radio Network. And thank you to the everydayers for making Locked On Canes your first listen. We're available wherever you get your podcasts. We're on YouTube. We're part of the now #1 Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. On this episode, we'll keep it simple. Does Miami get into the college football playoff? We'll react to Alabama not just losing to Georgia, because I was concerned about what could happen with a close Bama loss. They got blown out. BYU got torched by Texas Tech, so they should be out of consideration. We got the truth teller with us.
Yay! We're in. We're going to be in. We're going to be in. Yeah, everybody's saying it. Herbie already said it. People are saying it. Yeah. We're going to be in. In fact, somebody said we might be an 8 seed after all of this. You know, we should.
Yeah, if we're an 8 seed,
we should jump Notre Dame because we beat them.
Yeah,
it could be an 8 seed. It's possible.
Yeah, of course. Obviously we were all watching Georgia against Alabama, and it was 21-0 UGA. Bama was never really in it. They cut the deficit down to 21-7. They ended up losing 28-7. And late in that broadcast, Kirk Herbstreit said that this is his opinion, of course, but he said he thinks that Miami definitely should be in now, and that the debate for the final spot should be Bama versus Notre Dame, not Miami versus Notre Dame. That was Herbie's opinion. Yeah. We were also, Bruce, we were both watching the BYU Texas Tech game. You know, BYU got beaten worse than Bama did today. They lost 34-7 to Texas Tech. That game was never close. And on that broadcast, Joe Tessitore and Jesse Palmer, they were both lobbying for Miami. And that was before they had any idea what was going to happen in the Alabama-Georgia game. They were both lobbying for Miami for the head-to-head to matter. Nick Saban, Bruce, did you watch College Game Day this morning?
Saban, he said Miami needs to be in too.
Yeah,
he
said.
I remember a couple of weeks ago, before we lost to SMU, he said on the air, "I think Miami can go all the way." And the funny thing is, if they play like they have been, it's possible. It's possible. I don't think anybody wants to play us. Not the way we played the last 4 weeks.
Nope. And you speak of trends. You talk about
if we get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
We talked about if we get into a bowl game. We get into the playoffs, are any of these seniors going to opt out?
No, not for the playoffs. No, everybody's
not for the playoffs, right?
No, okay. Reuben Bane, Akeem Mezador, CeCe Mauinoa, Carson Beck. These guys want to win a championship. Of course they're going to play.
Okay, I'm just asking because sometimes these agents get in the middle of this and they say, you're a first-round pick. You're out of your mind if you play.
I don't think we've never had that happen in the playoffs. Never.
Well, we haven't been in the playoffs.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's never happened to anybody else. Like nobody else has had a player opt out for a play. Like if you're in the Bad Boy Mowers Bowl or something, then yeah, you might have players opt out, but not if you're in the CFP. But so here's the situation after today, Bruce. Of course, you go back to last Tuesday in the college football playoff rankings. They kept Miami at number 12. They had BYU right there in between Notre Dame at number 10, BYU 11, Miami 12. Like we all know, to get into the playoff at large, you have to be top 10. 11, 12 is not good enough because you factor in the auto bid. So Miami needs to move up 2 spots this week, right? BYU, they were in a win and you're in, lose and you're out situation, right?
Yeah,
they got hammered by Texas Tech. They're out. So they fall behind Miami. So like theoretically, Miami and everyone seems to think it's going to play out this way. Again, the committee can wreck this if they really want to, but people now think Notre Dame and Miami are going to be back-to-back. The committee's going to be forced to weigh the head-to-head and put Miami in front. And you would think, Bruce, again, you would think that with Alabama not only losing against Georgia, but it was completely one-sided. Bama was never in the game today, that theoretically Alabama should drop behind Notre Dame and Miami. Bama was ranked 9th, theoretically. Now, I know what's going to happen over the next 24 hours. Greg Sankey, the SEC commissioner, is going to be lobbying. You cannot penalize Bama for playing in a bonus game. Oklahoma was sitting at home while Bama was playing. You can't drop them out of the playoffs for the conference championship game. We don't want you to devalue the conference championship.
He sounds like an idiot if that's what he sounds like.
That's exactly what he sounds like. Well,
because you know what? He's wrong. Alabama's going to drop out. They're not going to be in the playoffs. I think they were embarrassed today. All this talk about them, all the talk about us versus Notre Dame. And meanwhile, and they put them from 10 to 9, and they still got not only lost, they got killed. They don't belong in the playoffs. Get out. Now, the other thing would be I'd love to see us jump Notre Dame and wind up being 9 or 8 instead of 10. But whatever. I'm glad looks like we're going to be in. And, when we lost to SMU, we were all like, oh, what's the purpose of playing these games and blah, blah, blah. I guess this is the reason, whatever it was, whatever spirit's up there. I did talk to my son last night. I looked up in the heavens and I said, Daniel,
good for you.
We need your help. And I said, you haven't been helping us in the last 3 weeks. All the teams we wanted to lose won. So do something, Daniel. And you know what? Yeah. Look what happened today. 2 blowouts. Which is exactly what you and I wanted.
Yeah, I mean, my feeling coming in was because the Georgia-Bama game was a very complicated situation. So there were 2 outcomes that I wanted. I either wanted Bama to win or Georgia to blow them out. So I feel that Georgia blowing them out, again, I can't guarantee you what the committee is going to do on Sunday, but the easiest way, and Ari Wasserman from On3 was putting this out on his social media, that it's so easy now that all this Miami versus Notre Dame debate for these past 5 weeks, that the committee now has an easy way out of those debates. You can put both of them in. Like you have every reason to put both Miami and Notre Dame in now because BYU obviously falls out. Right. And Alabama, they should have just fallen out. This was their 3rd loss. And another thing I'll bring up, because I know people are already shouting this in the comments, right? Not only does Bama now have 3 losses, Bruce, Alabama has a loss to a 5-7 Florida State team that Miami beat. So there's a data point. There's a common opponent. Mm-hmm. That's another reason why Bama should fall below Miami after tonight.
Now, we talked about Bama getting moved to the 9 hole last week because they're like doing them a big favor in case something happened. But you know what? They don't belong in there. This was not a game. They were destroyed from the beginning to the end. I'm telling you, they're going to be 13 or 14, which doesn't matter. They're out. And I guess if Virginia wins, it'll be Miami, Notre Dame, and Virginia, 10, 11, and 12, or whatever the other numbers are, 9, 10, and 11, and some other tie-in comes in. But look, if we're in, I like it. Now what happens? When is the first round of the games? Not this weekend, I hope.
No. Well, let me look that up. When is first round of the college football playoff? So we could Friday, December 19th. And then Saturday, December 20th.
We have time to be ready to get healthy again. We just had a hell of a recruiting class 4 days ago. So and now we could be in the playoffs, which I think we are. So you know what? November, December wasn't so bad for Mario after all.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about making your case at the end of the season. The SMU loss was November 1st, and then people are saying, oh, this is it. Mario in November, the November swoon. This team is going to lose 3 out of their next 4 games. I give them so much credit for finishing the season strong. 4 straight wins, 4 straight dominant wins, a blowout win against number 22 on the road is what Miami did to end the year. And again, like this, obviously I would much prefer for Miami to slide above Notre Dame, but as long as they both get it, and actually, Bruce, there could be a situation where, let's say Miami gets the 8 seed and Notre Dame gets the 9, they might match up head-to-head again in the first round. The TV ratings would be through the roof.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Also, Indiana's playing Ohio State tonight too.
Yeah.
That's like a title game right then and there. They're 1-2.
Much.
They've been 1-2 for a while.
Yeah.
I want to see how good Indiana is, and I want to see how good Ohio State is playing cupcakes almost the entire season. Let's see how good they really are, because Indiana's not bad.
No, not at all.
I just don't know how good they are. I know they're not bad, but I don't know how good they really are.
So just so people know where we're, I think Ohio State's probably going to win tonight. Just so people know, obviously we're recording this right before the Ohio State-Indiana game and before the Duke against Virginia game. Do you care who wins that game? Because I actually think, it might be better for us. Like Josh Pate brought it up. Joel Klatt brought it up. If Duke wins the ACC championship, they're not going to get a bid. So then the committee might feel even more pressure to put Miami in to represent the ACC. I think we're rooting for Manny Diaz tonight.
I guess I am. I mean, if Virginia wins, are they automatically in?
Yeah, Virginia will be in because they're ranked ahead of.
They won't get a bye, right? Because they're not one of the top 5.
They won't get a bye. They'll get in because they'll be ranked ahead of JMU.
I'm rooting for Duke. I don't have anything against Virginia, but we should be in the playoffs, not them.
Yeah.
We didn't. 100%. Who didn't we didn't play Georgia Tech. We didn't play Virginia this year. I mean, come on.
Didn't play Duke.
We didn't play Duke. No. So, look, it was a hell of a turnaround, and now we have to get healthy. And the funny thing is about those last 4 games, Blay didn't play.
Yeah.
Keontae didn't play. People were banged up, right? And so our defense had some, we had some, Moten missed a game or so. But they all stuck together, and the game plan was finally better. And the other thing is the offense was more balanced, and they played well. And our defense wasn't on the field constantly with 3 and outs and 3 and outs. The play calling was much better. And again, Malachi Tony is the guy that makes this engine run. Whether he catches it, whether he runs it, whether he throws it, or whether he's a decoy, which he has been on a lot of the plays. They toss it to him. Everybody comes after him. He throws it to Lofton, touchdown. But those are the things you need to do. And that run up the middle garbage. Just you could do that against teams that have like no talent up front. But Louisville's not bad. SMU was in the title game last year. So, look, I'm excited. I just hope it comes true tomorrow, because then we'll have something to talk about for the next 2 weeks, I hope.
Well, when we come back, let's give our predictions for what the rankings could look like tomorrow. Is Miami really going to get in, and who would you like to match up with in the first round? You want to keep it locked right here. We got the truth teller with us, and we're not done yet on Locked On Canes. Folks, NFL Sundays move fast. One big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift, a receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum tips after the turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up. You can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. Thank you so much to the Everydayers for making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcasting network. It's because of you guys, those who listen to our shows every single day. You made this network #1, and I thank you so much for that. All right,
thank you guys. You guys have done a lot of participating on our shows. I get ripped a few times here and there, but that's okay. I don't care. The bottom line is, A, I was right, and B, here we are. We're going to be in the playoffs. So good.
God, I hope so. I mean, they were interviewing the committee chair this morning, Hunter Yurachek, the Arkansas AD, interviewing this guy on College Game Day, and Reese Davis asked him all the right questions about, hey, like how could the data point change if BYU wins or loses? What happens if Alabama loses? Like Reese asked him all the right questions. He got non-answers. It was just, well, after the games today, we will reevaluate our positions tomorrow. So they got nothing out of the committee chair. So we're all kind of guessing and assuming that Miami should be in tomorrow. And again, Bruce, like I make no guarantees because this committee, I do not trust them But if this plays out the way we think it's going to play out, BYU is definitely out of consideration after today. We feel Bama should be out of consideration, but even if they're not, if Miami and Notre Dame are no longer separated by a team in the middle, based on what the committee chair said on Tuesday, they should now weigh that head-to-head, and Miami should move in front of Notre Dame either way. So we think Miami's going to be a college football playoff team.
Yeah, I don't think Alabama's going to be in the playoffs, whether people get upset or not. They don't belong. They lost 3 times. There's nobody else in there in the running with 3 losses, right? Nobody.
Yeah.
And as far as who I want to play in the first round, I'd like to play Mississippi. They don't have their coach. They lost several of their coaches. They all took off down to Louisiana in Baton Rouge. So, you know what? I want to play them. They have an exciting offense. They're pretty good, but let's see. Maybe they're going to have their heads in the sand and don't care. I'd like to play them, though. More than Notre Dame maybe in the next round. I don't even know if we're going to be in Notre Dame's bracket. So we don't know that yet,
who knows?
Do we? Right, we don't know.
You know who I want to play in the opening round? I want to play against Oklahoma. That team, as the kids would say, is super sus right now. They've got an excellent defense, Oklahoma. But their offense is a liability the way that Miami's defense was last year.
And they got that Mateer quarterback. He got hurt, but he's playing.
Yeah, he's playing, but he's clearly not right. He broke his thumb mid-season. That probably should have been a season-ending injury. But the kid is so tough. He's been playing through it for 6 games. Right? He hasn't been right
on his throwing hand.
Yeah, on the throwing hand.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't think about. Yeah, Oklahoma's good. I'd like to play Mississippi. I don't want to play. I don't know if we're ranked near them. I don't know if we're going to play. We'd have to be 8-9 to play them or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know if it would line up if we could play. Texas A&M was ranked 7th. They've been the last couple weeks haven't looked great. Bruce,
no,
they lost to Texas. They had to pull off a miracle to beat a bad South Carolina team. So those games are interesting.
Look, they're all going to be good now. So we can't be. Yeah. I don't want to be favored. Let us be underdog. Let them say that they shouldn't have been in there and they're going to get blown out. Let them say that. That'll be nice. Our kids will go out there and just beat somebody up. That's all. That's what I like to see.
And we probably, I don't know what the line would be against Oklahoma. I would imagine if we match up with A&M, we would probably be an underdog. We would probably be an underdog against Notre Dame because Notre Dame fans keep telling me, y'all shouldn't be in because we'd be favored by 5.5 against you in a hypothetical match. You were favored in the real matchup we played against at the start of the season. We saw how that went. So
we pulled the plug with a 21-7 lead, which I don't know if he'll ever do that again. I just don't see it ever again. He hopefully learned his lessons.
Yeah.
The SMU game was a poorly coached game. Offensively, we had a lot of bad penalties, but we're on the right track now. So if we play them, I don't think they're so great. The only difference would be their quarterback has now 12-game experience, where before he had 0 experience.
Right.
So he's a lot better. I think maybe they're better than us. I don't know, but I just don't want to play him right away.
Yeah.
Play somebody else, somebody different. That's all.
And then work your way into that. Well, we appreciate your time, the truth teller. Thank you for making a weekend cameo with us. And we just thought, man, with everything seemingly going Miami's way today, we had to come on and do an episode. I'll be on again tomorrow reacting to the committee. Whether they break my heart, if they break my heart, it's going to be an outrage session. If Miami gets in, it's going to be a celebration. We shall find out. But make sure you guys check us out. Smash the like button. Subscribe to Locked On Canes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your pods. And thank you so much for making the Locked On Podcast Network #1, your team every day.